Hello and happy Tuesday. This is Wendy Lee. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm super excited that you're joining me today for a little paper crafting fun. Today we are going to feature the foreverfern stamp set, super versatile, and we are going to do a triple offset stamping technique. So I've got two cards here that I've done, and we're going to do a third version of this. Hey Deborah, so glad you're here today. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. As usual, I will make sure I go back, and in the description of the video, I will make sure I add the complete supply list and all of the cut dimensions, so you've got those. All right, so let's get started. Exciting stuff, right? All right, I'm starting with a cinnamon cider card base. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to fold this in half. And that's going to be my card base, and I will run my bone folder along the edge for a nice crisp crease. All right, next I've got, I'm missing some layers. Good grief. All right, we're going to have to pull out our paper trimmer, and I'm going to have to run and get a piece of real red cardstock. So bear with me as I do that. Can't believe I forgot to cut the red cardstock layers. I don't think it'll be quite the same without it. So we're just going to do that together. All right, so I'm going to pull in my paper trimmer, and my two real red layers are 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide this to the 5 1/4, and then 4 inches, and I want 2 of them. So we'll grab that one, and then I'll slide that one in and do that one. Sorry about that. I usually try to have everything pre-cut before we start, so you guys don't have to watch me do that kind of thing. But in case you were wondering, that is how I cut my cardstock. Okay, so I've got a 4 inch by 5 1/4 piece of real red, and then I've got a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of designer paper, and this is from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper pack. I love all the cool prints in this, and so we are going to use that today. All right, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, add a little adhesive to the back of my designer paper, and put that on my layer. Hey Jane, hey Heather. Marcia, so glad you guys are here today. I'm really not great at the comments, so if I miss you, if you've asking questions or have comments, please feel free to leave them, and I will go back after the video and make sure that I am responding to any questions that you've got. So, but I appreciate any feedback you can give me. All right, adding that layer. Whoa, I slipped. Let's go ahead and pull that back off before I adhere that down all the way. All right, I feel better about that. So I'm just adding that layers on with some dimensional dots. Okay, let's get to the fun part, which is the triple offset stamping piece. So I'm going to pull in my silicone craft mat. I'll flip it over. I've got a little stuff on the other side. And then I've got 3 pieces that I've cut of shimmery white cardstock. You could use regular white cardstock, but I like the shimmery appearance with it. I think it adds a nice touch. So the first one is 2 inches by 4 1/2. And then I've got a 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then a 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. And I'm just going to adhere these together temporarily. So I don't want to use a ton of adhesive, but I need enough that it's going to stay stable. So I'm just going to place this kind of eyeballing to see that I'm even on the 3 sides. And then we will put another little strip on there. And same thing here. I'm just kind of looking at these 3 sides to make sure that that's in place. All right, perfect. Now, you could use scrap paper instead of your silicone craft sheet. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to pull in my real red ink pad and my cinnamon cider ink pad, and a couple of my stamps, and let's get started. So I don't normally like to have multiple ink pads open at the same time. We'll slide this out of the way and kind of move over. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better. Cinnamon cider and real red. I don't normally like to have multiple pads open because it's super easy to accidentally put your ink in your stamped image in the wrong color and mess up your ink pads. You can always clean that up. It's not a big deal. But I try not to do that whenever I can. All right, I'm going to start, you know what? stop myself. Let's start with our sentiment. Let's stamp around the sentiment. I think we'll be happier with that in the long run. So I am using Real Red to stamp my sentiment, to a friend that makes me smile. So that is, again, right out of the Forever Fern stamp set. So everything we're using is from that stamp set. Okay, so let me re-ink this. See, now I can really place that so that it falls. And I'm going to kind of put a little extra pressure where those card layers overlap. Now you are going to get some white space there. That's okay. Don't let that stress you out. That's part of this technique and what happens. All right, let's get some red berries in there. And again, I'm going to put a little extra pressure where those card layers are changing height. Now that's going to get messy, so let me switch to a scrap paper. I think we'll be happier with that in the long run as well. Pull in a scrap paper here, and this way I can turn my cardstock as I need to. And I'm going to go back to the cinnamon cider leaf. So I am just kind of going back and forth so that I can make sure that I've got the spacing that I need. Let's go ahead and fill in a few red berries down here at this bottom edge. And then I'm going to add some right here. Hopefully I'm in camera. All right, and then we'll do one more of the cinnamon cider leaf. I'm gonna go like that. All right, let's close this all up before I make too big of a mess with it. Okay, so that is my layer right there. So, and it's okay that these little spots didn't stamp. And the reason they didn't stamp is because of the differences in height of those layered cardstock pieces I have. But we're going to fix that when we do our layers, so you won't even notice it. Now I want to come back in with some crumb cake and this little splatter stamp and just add some splatters randomly. I think it adds a really nice touch to have those in there. Cute, cute and fast and easy. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and do our layers. Now in my original samples, you can see I did two different things. This one I just went ahead and applied it all my layers and put them together. On this one I did a little sponging while this was still put together. For today I'm going to try one more thing. I am going to do a little sponging, but I'm going to pull them apart when I do it. I like the look of a little extra color with the sponged edge, but I felt like it was a little too much when I did all of them. So let's go ahead and pull these apart carefully. Hopefully I didn't get too much of adhesive on there that I can't get them together here. All right, so I'm going to start with my larger one. I've got a sponge, and I'm just going to put some cinnamon cider on it, and I'm going to sponge along this edge, just where I've stamped, to give it a little bit of a halo. Okay, I'm going to do that on each of the pieces. I've not done it this way before, so we'll see what it looks like. It might look really cool. It might not look really cool. We'll find out. I like the surprise of it all. So you guys have to tell me when we're done which one's your favorite. Okay, let's put this away. We'll pull it back out in a moment. All right, let's go ahead and put these layers together. So I've got Real Red cardstock pieces, and they are 1/8 of an inch bigger than the white. So if the white is, I think this was 2 by 4.5, then this would be 2 1/8 by 4 5/8. So that's what I mean by that. Again, I will put all the measurements in at the end, especially if I'm saying anything incorrectly. All right, so I've got my Stampin' Seal, and we're going to go ahead and just layer this one on, give that nice little border. Let's go ahead and do these. And I'm doing all of this flat. I typically like lots of height and texture, dimension going on in my projects, but I feel like this has so much going on. See, that little border just covers up where you missed, where that stamp didn't work. So an 1/8 inch border is a little better than the 1/16 inch border as far as covering, a little more forgiving, I guess I could say, not better. But I like the narrow borders, as you may already know. So I'm not going to worry about if I show a little bit. Perfect. Happy with that. All right, let's layer this last one on its real red layer. This stuff's sticky. Ooh, stamp and seal. I love it. So sticky. Okay, put this one down. I hope I'm not missing a bunch of questions. I apologize if I am. I will definitely go back. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and layer this right on the card front, just flat. So we'll put our stamp and seal in the back. A little bit more of adhesive there. And again, I'm looking at the 3 sides. You can look at this edge too if you want to, but I'm not too overly concerned about where it falls on this edge. Cute, right? All right, so let's add a little bit of bling. So I've got my holiday rainstones, and I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. And let's place one there and there, and we'll put one down there too. I like to work with the odd numbers instead of even numbers on that. Love that. Okay, let's do the inside. So I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measured the same as my designer paper. I think that was 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I'm going to layer that on the real red. But before I do that, I want to stamp it to bring my design to the inside, just like I did on the outside. So let's go and grab our cinnamon cider again. And I think I'm getting too far off the screen. So let's go ahead and stamp the leaf image. Alrighty. And then we'll bring back in our real red, and we'll add some berries. I think I want it there. I'm going to add one down here too. Okay. And then we will do our little sponging to bring our look inside the card as well. So add a little cinnamon cider on the edge where we've stamped. You could go further up the edge, but I really just wanted to highlight the stamping, so I don't really want to go up the whole side. Perfect. Happy with that. You could add a sentiment on the inside too if you want to, but I'm going to leave this alone. Give plenty of space to write a note to my friend. And add this right in. Whoa, almost forgot my real red layer. Almost messed up. We'll add that, and then we'll put this on the inside. It would be pretty without it, but I like the red pop. I think it looks really great with the cinnamon cider. All right, good deal. So now my inside and outside matches. So let's look at the 3 versions again. So this was the original without any sponging. The one I did today with a little bit of sponging on each layer, and then one where I sponged it while the layers were all together. And so it makes a really different impact in how that turns out. So I hope that you guys like this, and we'll give it a try. Which is your favorite? I'd love for you to tell me which one you like the best. Do you like the no sponging, sponging each layer, or sponging all the layers together and then pulling them apart? You'll have to leave that for me in the comments. So I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Please share the video with your crafty friends if you're enjoying the content. And if you're watching on the replay on YouTube, I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. So don't forget to leave me a note, and I will come back and answer any questions you've got. Thanks so much. Bye for now, and I will talk to you soon.